Welcome, and thank you for being here. This is our second data reporting training video, and we'll be going over general concepts in this video. We do have a high-level overview of all re-engagement data reporting for the 23-25 biennium posted to our Re-Engagement Technical Assistance website. So let's go ahead and begin. The data report for each quarter can be reduced to the following steps in the following order. So each quarter, you will first enter all youth that started receiving grant-funded services in the 3-month reporting period. And for these youth, you'll provide the program entry youth characteristics. The second step is each quarter, you will end date any youth that stopped receiving grant-funded services in the 3-month reporting period. And one thing that's important to keep in mind is in the data manual, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this across here, there is a quick guide, so a quick reference guide it starts on page 12, which is chart 1, and it lists which items are collected at entry and which items are collected at exit for students and youth here. Okay. Another important concept for the data report is that the data report is cumulative. This means that a single data report is used for all reporting periods. In re-engagement, we're going to break this down into the 2 program years. So a single data report is used for reporting all periods Q1 through Q4, and a single data report will be used for all reporting periods Q5 through Q8. So please keep in mind that your grant manager may be referring to a data report as a Q2 or Q2 data report, a Q3 data report, but the data report itself is a single cumulative spreadsheet, and the information is you're presenting it to your grant managers, the grant managers are approving it. So each quarter you're adding to the spreadsheet, but you're not deleting or overwriting the information that you have already provided in the previous reporting period. Okay, another important concept is rows. Each row in the data report represents a period of service. The period of service is determined by the start and end dates, and all start and end dates must fall within the biennium. So for year 1, quarters 1 through Q4, this is July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. So even if you have a youth with continuous enrollment from the prior year on the data report, you'll put the first date of that, a year within the current biennium in terms of a start date for that youth on this data report. The start date is defined as the date the youth began receiving grant-funded services, and the end date is the date the youth stopped receiving grant-funded services. Assigning an end date is known as end dating, and for more information on end dating, you can see attachment C of the data manual. And just a note, because we have schools who are grantees in the re-engagement system, we want to talk a little bit about a re-engagement period of service. So it's possible for a single youth to have multiple rows or multiple periods of service on the data report spreadsheet. So for example, you might have worked with a youth in July, and then in October they say, I'm moving to Idaho. And so you provide the program exit or program end characteristics. And then that same youth returns in March and requests to re-enter the re-engagement program. And so at that point, you would have a second period of service and you would have a new row on the data sheet for that youth. However, just contrast that for a minute to it's also possible for a youth to be continuously enrolled in a re-engagement program, even if they become unenrolled from school. So for example, you may be a school that's working with the youth, and the youth has been absent from school for 10 or more consecutive school days. And so the school registrar may unenroll the youth. However, the re-engagement specialist or the case manager is still continuing to work with the youth, reach out, and to try to find a best possible educational placement for that youth. In that case, when the school registrar end dates or removes the student from active enrollment, it doesn't mean that the re-engagement program is unenrolling that youth from being active in a re-engagement program. So things to consider depending on your program model and structure. Okay. Another concept I wanted to cover today is a youth ID. A single youth ID is used for each youth on the data report. Schools and ASDs should use the youth ODE SSID number. Nonprofits and other entities can create a unique identifier for each participant. You should use letters and numbers. It shouldn't be too simple because we're seeing some duplication in numbers across programs. And also, it's really important that you're retaining that unique identifier in your own records for being able to identify that youth. And so the same youth ID will be used for a youth that has multiple periods of service, very important, one youth, one identifier. Don't use multiple youth IDs for a single youth over the biennium. And remember, a youth is considered to be active in grant-funded services if their associated row does not have an end date, and a youth is considered to be inactive in grant-funded services if their associated row has an end date. Just some general guidance. Before doing any of the following on your data report, please reach out to your grant manager first. Failure to do so may result in the data report not being approved. So don't delete any approved data that has already been reviewed and approved by the grant manager. Don't copy over or change any approved data. And be sure to enter the data into all required data fields. As we talked about earlier, if a student is active, we are expecting that the program entry data information will be filled in, but we don't expect that any of the program exit data information will be filled in yet. So with any of the exit fields left blank for an active participant, that's totally expected. I also included a couple other details at the bottom, which aren't as relevant for the smart sheet, but just in terms of general guidance, don't alter the data reporting template itself. There are some customizable fields in the re-engagement smart sheet, which you can work with your grant manager on, and also don't enter any data that's not provided in a drop-down menu. So in terms of data quality, the 23-25 Reengagement Data Manual is an immediately available resource if any questions on how to report arise. Additional data reporting tools are these training videos that we're producing and putting on the Reengagement Technical Assistance website, as well as checklists that your grant managers are providing. And we're also putting those in SurveyMonkey Apply reporting portal in the housekeeping section. So be sure to reach out to your grant manager if you have any questions about the data report. And this concludes our just general concept video number 2. And there will immediately be a walkthrough demonstration in our video number 3. So thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for the work that you do every day with youth.